Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening to you all. So today our organizing secretary has given me an opportunity to conduct today's third day of our 1 week faculty development program online on research methodology and data analysis, organized by the Kolkata Bidhannagar Society for Academic Advancement, jointly with Nowgong College, Autonomous Assam, and Jhargram Raj College, Jhargram, and Domkal Girls College, Murshidabad. So today we have two respected resource persons, Dr. Biswajit Pal and Dr. Rinki Das. So the first session will start by our friend ও বলতে পারেন friend or student ও বলতে পারেন our colleague Dr. Biswajit Pal. And so for the introduction part, I just hand over the moment to Priyanka Bonik. Priyanka Bonik, please introduce Dr. Biswajit Pal for the session 1 of day 2.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Thank you very much and best of luck, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Very good evening to all the participants and respected sir and our speaker. Today we are in day 3 of our online faculty development program on research methodology and data analysis. And today in day 3 technical session 1 we have we have Dr. Biswajit Pal with us, and here in technical session 1 today, we have Dr. Paul with us, who is going to deliver a lecture on how to evaluate your academic production. And Dr. Paul is presently serving as an assistant professor in PG and research development and research studies in Department of Commerce of University of Gaurbanga, Malda, West Bengal, India. He did his undergraduate, postgraduate studies and research studies from University of Calcutta. He has teaching experience of more than 13 years in different colleges and universities. He has authored of 7 textbooks. He has a number of reputed publications to his credit, and he presented many research papers in different national and international level seminar, conference, and symposium. He is the member of different learned academic association and society. And I would like to request you, sir, to start this session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Priyanka. Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. First of all, I want to give my sincere gratitude to Kolkata Bidhannagar Society for Academic Advancement and Nowgong College, Jhargram College, Domkal Girls College for giving me the opportunity to deliver something here in this platform. So thank you. And with this is a 1 week faculty development program on research methodology and data analysis is going on. Today is the 3rd day. Already in this platform, Professor Ananda Mohan Pal, our teacher, Dr. Shammargata Das, teacher, Dr. Rupam Mukherjee, Dr. Sudipta Ghosh already delivered their insightful speech on different issues related to research methodology and data analysis. So after that, today is my turn. Myself, Dr. Biswajit Pal, and with this also I want to give my respect to Professor Dipti Kumar Chakraborty sir, Professor Uttam Kumar Dotto sir, Professor Ananda Mohan Pal sir, and Professor Pema Lama sir. our Honorable President, Honorable Vice Presidents, and Honorable Secretary, and other governing body members of our society, KBSAA, for giving me the opportunity to say something in this platform. So with this, I'm starting my today's topic. So before starting, I just want to say that I am not any resource person here. I'm not going to act as a resource person. So please don't consider me as a resource person. Just I am sharing something, whatever I know, whatever I have gathered, I want to share. Okay. So I request Priyanka or anyone else to present the screen. I have already sent my PPT. Please.
Yes, sir.
Actually, sir, I don't have the PPT.
No, actually, Sukarna is presenting, right? Thank you, Sukarna.
Yes, sir. Sir, is the screen visible, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sir, is it all right?
Yes. Now it is
Okay.
visible. So today's topic is how to evaluate your academic production. Okay, Sukarna, okay? May I start? Sukarna?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is all right, sir.
It's coming. Now it's okay. So how to evaluate your academic production? That is actually the question. Due to our profession, we have to write, due to the compulsion of our profession, we have to write research article, of course, in some reputed journals or edited volumes or any books or anywhere else to get promotion. That is actually our compulsion from the viewpoint of our job. And who are the new researchers? For them to get the job, you have to write something, you have to contribute something in academic platform. That is very much true. So now the question is, being a researcher, say I have written a paper, you have written a paper. Now how to evaluate your academic production? That means actually now this is a age of actually age when we are using the full age of digitalization, right? The days have been changing. It's not, there is nothing about the earlier days, 23, 30 years ago, that on that time the situation was different. But now the situation has been changing. Day by day it's changing. It's totally the age of digitalization. So now in this era, how you evaluate your academic production? Actually, you have to project yourself. Nobody is here to project you. That is actually my personal opinion. So at present day, whenever you are writing a paper, research article, or whenever you are sending or submitting a research article, okay, it's getting published. You have to project yourself. That means you have to project your work, your academic production. How will you project? That is the question. So with this background, I have thought to share some issues. I think being a researcher, we all should know about these matters. Okay. So now coming to my slide, when you start your research, we all know about the citation of research. Some issues you have to keep in your mind. at the time of starting your research. That means starting your research, writing of research article. First thing, to identify the most cited articles on your subject. Before starting, before thinking, when you are starting to think about something that I will write on this issue, on this matter. So first, what you have to do? First, we have to identify the most cited articles in my subject, in my area, broad research area. That is the first point. Second point, to find the collaboration with researchers in your field, that means in our field, by discovering who cites and mentions your work. You have to find out the collaboration. Being the researcher, you can't do anything bigger standalone. That means solely you can't. Why? I'll discuss later. Next one, you have to identify trends of research. How do you know? How do you know what is the trend of your research? You have to consider some articles. You have to look at the most cited articles. So citation is important. You have to consider the mostly cited articles. If you want to know the trend, where you will go? Where you will go? You have to consult some cited articles. Next one, to situate yourself, that means what is your position? By tracking the impact of your research, identify who cites your articles. You have to identify after writing, after publish. Next one, to increase the visibility of your research. That is the point. To increase the visibility of your research, and it's getting more importance at present day. You have written and it is published in a particular volume or book or any journal which is not having any visibility. At present day, at least, it's having no value to some extent. Okay. So here you have to make your research article, or you have to make your research visible. How? We will discuss later. We'll definitely get the answers within few minutes. And ultimately, to improve our future research. So on which topic we will go for research, broad research area, to finding collaboration, to finding trend, to finding the present situation of my article or my research, and to make the research article visible. So for all these things, we need to discuss today's issue. Okay. Next slide, please. Thank you. After that, now how will you evaluate? I have already raised the question. You have to evaluate. How would you evaluate your article? How should I evaluate my article? Actually, this evaluation part is mainly the quantitative evaluation. First thing. So in my slide, you can check in the left side, impact matrix refers. Impact matrix, actually this is popularly known as impact matrix. Okay. The evaluation measurement criteria is known as impact matrix. I'm coming. This is quantitative analysis, not qualitative, mind it, of any scientific publication in order to evaluate academic production. So, the negative side, negative aspect, or the loopholes, better to say, that the qualitative evaluation is not possible in this through this impact matrix. Okay, is the first thing. Now, how will you evaluate your academic production, whatever the research article you have written? There are 3 level checking or evaluation process. 3 layers are there. First one, you have to evaluate the journal, in which journal you have published or you are going to publish. You have to check the journal. Second layer, you have to check your article. You have to evaluate your article. I have written an article. So to me, it would be better. It must be better. There is no question. But how the community is considering, that should also be checked. And last one, you have to evaluate yourself. Right? That means author's evaluation. Next. What I have already mentioned, journal level metrics, journal level evaluation. Next, article level metrics, article level evaluation, and author level evaluation. Okay. Journal level evaluation, these are used to determine the impact of a journal on the scientific community. How do you check? Come to the next slide, please. What is the journal impact? There are so many indicators, several indicators are there to evaluate the impact or reputation of a journal. They are based on the mainly number of citation, mainly. Today is the age of actually citation. So several, I repeat, this is very, very important before submitting a paper in a journal or before targeting a particular journal. Several indicators, mainly, I have already said, number of citation, right? So it can be useful to identify how, first, the most renowned titles in the field through the citation, current strategic research topic, and in which journal to publish, right? But of course, we will check the citation of any particular journal, but there are some issues which we have to keep in our mind. That number of citation is having a huge impact at present day, but there are some loopholes. There are some actually openness. What are these? First thing, you just check at the right side of my slide. The period covered by these indicators is 3 to 5 years, which is too short for the social science. 3 to 5 years only for a particular journal. The period is too small for social science, but it is very much applicable for the fundamental science, experiment-based science, experiment-based research, right? But in case of social science, we should need much more time. So in the particular period of time, short period of time, in the short span of time, probably we cannot disclose everything. Second one, suppose you are doing a research on a particular area. Say the bidi industry, you are doing a primary survey research on bidi industry of Murshidabad district. or any small and narrow research area. Right. This type of paper, mainly the primary data, primary survey based paper, okay, may not have much more citation, but it's have a huge social responsibility, this type of research, social connection, social impact. So that is also we have to keep in your mind. Third thing, non-English journals are less cited. So number of citation is saying most of the things, is having huge impact, but you follow, you check some journals which are non-English journals. That means the language is different other than English. So for those journals, not so much citation you will get. That is also a point. Many journal impact indicators do not take the subject field into account. Subject wise, okay. At present, from my experience, from my understanding, if you do any kind of research on computer science, bioscience, right, or biotechnology, by using some advanced methodology, advanced econometrics or statistical tools, right, like FI-GARCH model, neural network, or wavelets, okay, or anything other. So in these particular subjects, probably there will be a huge number of citation, right? So it depends on your subject. And next one, the impact manipulation. Of course, impact manipulation is there. I'm not discussing this. And to evaluate the last point, to evaluate the research of an author, do not forget to consider other indicators such as H index, in addition, or other some index I will discuss later after 3 or 4 minutes. Okay. So there are some other indicators also. So these are saying that citation, number of citation or citation is not all the things. Okay, citation is okay, it's having some, it is having a huge importance, of course, to us, but it is not all, not disclosing the all facts. Okay. However, we have to go with citation. So the finally, how much citations your journal or whatever the journal where you are going to publish, or you have already published your journal article, research article, are getting. That is the question. Next slide, please. Here, mainly journal metrics, journal, in lucid language, if I say, the category of journal, mainly the parameter was in earlier days, or at present also, impact factor, you know. So I have written here, for a long time, the only tool for assessing journal performance was the impact factor. But now concept is changing. Little bit changes occurred actually. Now only impact factor, no. This is not true. There is a range of different research metrics available now at present. The basket of metrics. Okay. So it includes all metrics, H index, I index, G index. I will discuss, of course, I will discuss. So now the question is impact factor. Mainly we will focus on impact factor. Journal metrics There are so many journal metrics. You just check Clarivate Analytics, journal impact factor, GIF, 5 years journal impact factor, etc., SNIP, SJR, Scopus, IPP. So all these are the journal metrics. That means how far your journal is effective or good or qualitative. You can check. So here, next slide, please. There are so many 5-6 methods I have already mentioned here. There are so many other methods also, and which are generally used in science-based journals. Okay, so and we are from the social sciences. So for that reason, I am not discussing all the journal metrics. Mainly, I have taken the first one, that is journal impact factor, GIF. Journal impact factor of the journal. Okay. Now the question is, for a journal, for any journal, how they will get the impact factor? Or that means, how will you calculate the impact factor for a particular journal? Okay. And I am not uttering these words, who has invented and in the year of, etc., because you will get the PPT. Here, the formula is how to calculate journal impact factor. The formula is number of citations received in a particular year to content published in a particular journal divided by the total number of articles and reviews published in that particular journal in the last 2 preceding years. Okay. I'm just simplifying it. Go to the next slide. The impact factor measures the average number of citations received in a particular, which I have already mentioned as per Clarivate Analytics. That is actually the report. I have mentioned, just check it. I have just given a screenshot of a particular journal, this economic system. Okay. The open access journal of Elsevier. Here impact factor is written 2.31. Site score is 4. How to calculate site score, that is also given, but due to the lack of time, I have not mentioned here. Mainly my focus is to calculate impact factor. That is 2.31. You can see it here. Okay, that is a volume 46, issue 4, December 22, the current issue. How they have calculated 2.31, or any new journal, how they will get impact factor. Okay. Next slide, please. So this is the formula. I have already mentioned. Journal impact factor equal to, here I have given in my example, this particular journal is seeking GIF or is going to calculate GIF for 2017, the year 2017. So if it is 17, that means you have to check the citations you have received in this particular journal for the year 2015 and 16. I have already mentioned last 2 years total citation. Say in my example, in the year of 2015 they got 307 citation, and in 2016 they got 326 citation, right? So total citation in the year 2015 and 16 altogether 633, and total number of articles published in 2015 and 16, in 15 30 and in 16 42, total 72. You have to check preceding 2 years actually. So for the year 2017, journal impact factor for that particular journal, this is a journal X actually, not, don't try to relate with this economic system, okay? This is just imaginary calculation actually. So 633 divided by 72, that is 8.792 will be the impact factor for the year 2017. So for a new journal, if this particular journal authority, they want to get the impact factor, they have to wait for 2 years at least. In the same way, 2022 GIF, so in that case, 20 and 21 you have to check. So 20 and 21, total citation of 2021 divided by total articles and reviews in 2021. Now, and where you will find these indicators in different journals or publishing houses, they have their own, okay. So these all are the journal related evaluation. So how will you evaluate the journal? If you want to evaluate your academic production, so first you have to target one journal. And I think you all are aware that in any good quality journal, minimum time is required to publish a paper because there are lots of processes. Okay. So you have to target a journal by checking all these things. Then you publish or you start your publishing journal. Next, come to your article part. How to evaluate your article? After journal, article. Please, next slide. Okay. So in evaluation of article, that is actually article impact. So that was journal impact. Now it is article impact. The article impact is measured by the number of times an article has been cited by other publications. There are also citation. So as a researcher, it can be useful to track the impact of your research. Find articles on your research topic. Now everything you have to do for your research article, not as a whole the journal. Identify the most cited articles and find the collaboration. More or less objectives are same. Okay. Next, some issues are there which you should keep in your mind, like journal impact. I'm just uttering one or two due to lack of time. First one, high volume of citation does not guarantee the quality of an article. It is very much true. A high volume, again I repeat, a high volume of citation, this particular research article has got say 1000 citation. That means it is a very good article, and another one research article which has got say 5 citation. That means it is inferior quality of article or research production or academic production. This is not true. There are some reasons. That is very, very pertinent or relevant for any researcher, for anyone. For that reason, I am mentioning you. If you find any open access journal, Elsevier open access journal, MDPI open access journal, okay, any Indus Science open access journal, or any other journal, open access journal, naturally these journals or the articles of these journals will be having more citation, a huge number of citation they will get. Your research article will get. Why? This is because this is open access. And if it is your research article or any better research article from the viewpoint of quality, if it is published in any restricted access journal, right, you find the abstract. If you find in any search engine, I think you have already faced the problem. You are getting only the abstract, say Sage. Okay. So most of the articles or journals of Sage, you will get only the abstract. So as you are getting abstract only, that means the full paper you are not getting. That is not open access journal. Okay. So naturally, the citation will be less. It doesn't mean that the research article is inferior. Okay. Like this, all some issues. Second one, review articles are usually more cited than original research articles. That is very much true, you know. Citations take time to accumulate and citation patterns differ from one field to another field. I have already mentioned, etc., etc., etc. Otherwise, I will not conclude within time. Okay. Please, next slide. After that, the third level evaluation. So first level was your journal level evaluation, journal metrics. You have to check journal. Second layer or second level evaluation is your article metric. You have to evaluate your article in quantitative matter. And third one, this is called author impact or author metric, right? Here, to evaluate author impact or to evaluate author's performance, actually, there are some indexes. First one, I will discuss about H index. H index, I think you have heard. H, based on the name of his inventor, propounder, the Hertz index actually. H index, you just remember it as H index. Next, G index. Next, I-10 index. These three index, obviously, definitely we have to keep in our mind. Okay, next slide. What is H index? Everything is written here. I will calculate it in my next slide. Just go to the next slide, please. Without wasting time. Say you have published at least 15 papers that have each been cited 15 times or more. You will have an H index of 15. I think from this example you can easily calculate or you can easily understand what is H index. 15 papers and all the papers cited more than 15 times, then H index will be 15. Just check my example at the right side, pictorial example. Here, 10 papers published. Paper 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Number of citation, first paper got 101, 86, 77, 56, 16, 12, 8. So up to paper 7, you just check it, you just check here, up to paper 7, number of citation 8. So up to paper 7 papers, they have each been got 7 citations, at least 7 citations. So here 7, 7, that means H index will be 7. If you consider paper number 8, it's having citation, number of citation 4. That's why it will not be considered, it will not be included in H index. 8, but here 4. But if it is more than 8, then your H index would have been 8. Right. So here 7. So number of papers and at least number of citation will be the same quantity, same number, same figure. That is the concept of H index. You have to check. Next slide. That is the G index. G index, I'm just going to give example. You will go through the slide after my session. Next slide, please. These are all the advantages. Next one is I index. Go. I'm not going through all these slides because I will go to directly the calculation part. Then everything will be clear, I think. So I10 index, the number of publication at this 10 citation. Next one. Next slide. Next slide. Advantages, disadvantages, you will go through. Come to this slide. That is very, very important. And here, from this slide, everything will be clear. Everything will be clear. First check. 3 authors are there. Author A, very carefully and minutely. Yeah? Author A, author B, and author C. Author A. R means number of article. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 articles. C means citation. 11, 7, 7, everything is there. Summation of citation, that means the cumulative, 11 plus 7, 18, 18 plus 7, 25 in this way. And R square, that means the square root of the number of people, number of articles. 1 square 1, 2 square 4, 3 square 9 in this way. Very easy. Here for author A, I10 index will be 1. Why? I10 index means at least 10 citation. Number of article which is having, or articles which are having at least 10 citation. So here only paper 1 is having 11 citation. So only 1. I10 index for author A 1. Next H index, I have already mentioned. H index, here number of 6, paper number 6 up to 6. So 6 citation you check, more than 6, 6 or more than 6. So ultimately H index is 6. If you consider the 7th paper is having the citation 3 only. For that reason 6 will be the H index. And G index, this actually I have not discussed. Now I will discuss. What is G index? Just check. Here G index is also 6. How? Paper number up to paper number 6, this is article 6, and R square, that means number of articles square, that is 36. And the summation of citation, cumulative summation actually, that is 44. Okay? So up to 6, the criteria of G index is satisfying. Whenever you will consider 7th article, that means the summation of citation is 47. But R square, 7 square, that means 49. So 49 is exit. So as the 49 is higher than 47, okay, it is not under 47. That's why 7th paper we will not consider. So 6, up to 6 is the H index. So here what we will check? We will check the square root of the number of papers and the cumulative summation of citation. Okay. So this is the criteria of H index. I index, I10 index, H index, and G index. In the same way, you calculate for author B. Author B, I10 index. How much research articles are having citation more than 10? Clearly, paper number 1, paper number 2, paper number 3, and paper number 4. 36, 24, 23, 15. All are more than 10. So I10 index 4. Now H index 5. How? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here 5 means 5. You have to get at least 5 citation. So 5 against 5, fifth paper, that is 6. And 36, 24, 23, 15, 6. So all the papers, all the research articles are having citation more than 5. So H index will be 5. Why not 6? Because 6 is having the citation only 3. 3. So criteria is not matching, not fulfilling. Okay. And G index, here G index you just check 8. All the papers, all the research articles will be included in G index. How? 8, summation of citation is 110, and R square, that means 8 square, that is 64. So 64 and 110, obviously 64 is included in 110. It's lower than 110. Okay, so G index is in this way, author C. I'm not explaining due to lack of time, only 15 minutes late. Please, next slide. So these 3 parts, journal metrics, next article metrics, next author metrics, already done. After that, at present days, with which I had started actually my session, that this is the age of digitalization. And another one statement, you have to project your work. Nobody will be there to project your work. You have to. For that reason, some platforms are here. This is called persistent digital identifier. Okay. In short, PDI. PDI is a univocal way to identify a researcher. You have written a particular article, published, you have got the publication. After that, you are staying at your home without doing anything. Without doing anything means actually in very, what I say, in very local language actually, if we, in narrower sense, you have to promote without doing any promotion. You have to project, you have to promote your research article. How do you promote? You should create PDI. Nobody will create for you. You have to create. If you have one article, then you also create with your name. However, what are the benefits you will get if you access PDI? Just check in this slide. To avoid confusion of names, just you check, say Vishwajit Pal or anything, any other name, Ashish Bhattacharya, Sandeep Mukherjee, just you check Sandeep Mukherjee. You will get 10 Sandeep Mukherjee in Google, in any search engine. Then you have to find out which one is your Sandeep. Second one, to associate your publication with your profile. You have to associate, you have to link, make a bridge between your publication and your profile. Nobody knows you. You have to, your identity will be your publication, your designation, your institution, your previous works, everything should be linked with the publication at present. So ultimately you are promoting yourself. Okay. Next one, to manage your publication, to use it as a promotional tool. I have already mentioned. To access the metrics of your publication, to save the time, to ensure compliance, etc., etc. These all are the persist PDI. Okay, I'm coming. Next slide. One of the PDI is ORCID, ORCID. I think you know ORCID, Open Researcher and Contributor ID. This is a unique ID of researcher. ORCID ID. You just create your ORCID. ORCID is a non-profit organization who will give you the unique identity. Your researcher, being a researcher, you will have an identity. That is unique PDI. With this ID, you will be known everywhere, right? In abroad also. So, researcher of Australia, he or she wants to collaborate with you, with your work. In the same field you are working, through ORCID, they or he or she can connect with you. Next one. And to promote authors or the author metrics at present are having some other platforms. Okay, this is actually known as academic social network. Academic social networks are the platforms whose main goal is to connect researchers with common interest and help them to share information. Okay, what I have already mentioned, create a profile that summarizes your research, etc., etc. There are, I have written here, there are a dozen of these platforms, but the most popular are known as, you all know, ResearchGate and Academic. The Academic Social Network. Next one. You all know about Google Scholar Citation. So Google Scholar Citation authors profile. This is also be used for promotion purpose. But one thing you have to keep in mind, Google Scholar Citation profile is not a PDI, right? It can be considered as a way of showcase your publication. Popularity you will gain. Okay. Next. Some other authors profile, Google Scholar Citations, Kudos, SSRN, you know, all. Next one, this is actually called altmetrics. A little bit discussion is needed here. Altmetrics. Altmetrics is a third-party website that can help researchers to discover the reach and impact of the research through the news, outlet, policy documents, academic and social media attention. Nowadays, it is very much popular. What altmetrics count? Right. Number of views and downloads of anything. Lots of people, they are using now blogs, blog post, Twitter, specialized social media, ResearchGate, policy document, Wikipedia articles, comments on peer review platforms such as Pablon, etc., etc., etc. Through these platforms, you can explore your work. You can explore your works. Okay. Next one. How does it work? How do all metrics work? Actually, you have some, you know, DOI. Most of the publications are now in electronic mode. So from there, you will get DOI. So through DOI or any other link, SCI hub link or any other. So through DOI, it will be, your work will be linked with all these platforms through DOI. So these all are actually the positive sides of your research work. So your research work can be promoted, can be explored. Okay, you can reach to a broader world actually. But there are some issues. Ultimately, before using all these platforms, you have to sincerely think on these issues. So what are these issues? Number one, researchers break up their production in order to increase their chances of being cited. Actually, what some researchers do, they break up their production. Total research article or anything, any work, not article actually in narrow sense, a broader sense research work, they can break it only for getting the citation. Okay. If you publish in a single matter, and if you break the production, your total work into two separate parts, right? That means your citation may be doubled. So ultimately, the research interest in broader sense that may be hampered. Second one, researchers focus on trendy areas to find more funding. So all are trying to publish their papers on trendy areas for just to acquire fund. This is very much relevant for any science subject, fundamental science subject, because there are fund is a very important issue for their research. In social sciences, in social science subjects, it is comparatively less the fund issue. Next one, researchers can manipulate indicators by using self-citation or by partnering with others. Can manipulate. I'm not discussing in details, but I think you will understand what kind of manipulation is there. Next one, a researcher who excels only his field. That is also due to this particular area, metrics area, that means evaluation. Only they are exercising, they are doing their researches in the particular field, their particular field. That means the objective of multidisciplinary research in broader sense is not effectively implemented. We are not able to implement the multidisciplinary research in effective manner. Next one, the use of metrics can be a way to evaluate the visibility, but no metrics can replace a human opinion to evaluate the work of a researcher. A paper is having a huge citation, say 1000 citation. You will find in science subjects, you check Google Scholar or anything, 1000, 2000, 3000, 5000, 10,000 citations. Okay, your paper has citation, no problem. But it cannot change the human opinion about this, or human perception, or the reader's perception about this particular. Next one, metrics harvested only on these platforms are not very reliable because of data, data collection methods and the calculation of metric indicators all are not transparent. Okay. We don't know how to calculate them. Big publishing houses are there throughout the world. At least I don't know how they calculate. Maybe the formula is given in their website or anything. But actual data, they never publish, they never reveal due to their privacy policy, as I think. Next one, academia research gate follow this type of houses follow for profit business model actually. Just think what is going on beyond the issue. Next one, you will at this juncture, obviously we are all getting a lot of spam, lot of communication, lot of articles, lot of emails. Okay, so you have to check, okay, whether you will publish your paper and all the issues which are associated with the publication, and obviously last one, the legal issues. You have to consider the legal issues, you have to check all the legal issues, and then go. Okay, so with this, I am summarizing my discussion, short discussion, and these are the next one. These are the references from where I have got the information. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you, sir, for making out your time from your busy schedule and present such an informative session. This lecture is not only important for the new researcher but also for them who are pursuing their research. It also throws light how a researcher communicate his or her research work with the community. We learn a lot from you, sir, and wish to listen you more in the due course. With this, I take this privilege to thank you once again on behalf of the organizing committee. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sukanya. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I am leaving.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Priyanka?
Yes, sir.
Acha, you just start the second session.
Okay, sir.
We have a Dr. Rinki Das madam is with us, and you just start. Okay. So
Okay,
best
sir.
of luck. Okay.
Thank you, sir. So again, a very good evening to all of you. And we are going to start our technical session 2 of our 1 week faculty development program on research methodology and data analysis. And here in our second technical session, we have Dr. Rinki Dash with us, who is going to deliver a lecture on case study method in research. Let me introduce her. Dr. Rinki Dash has been working as an assistant professor and head in the Department of Human Resource Management, Kolkata Commerce College, Assam. She has completed her graduation from JB College, Jorhat, MCom, and PhD from Dibrugarh University, Assam. She has teaching experience of 11 years in undergraduate level and 6 years in postgraduate level under Dibrugarh University. Her area of specialization is human resource management, marketing management, and business management, and also labor and industrial laws. Her area of research are work-life balance, women empowerment, learning approaches. He also involves, she also invited as a resource person for various areas like entrepreneurship and women, human resource management in entrepreneurship and self-development. She has 16 number of publications including ISSN and ISBN. She has attended various faculty development program and workshop. And students, I would request you, madam, to start this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much for such a heartwarming introduction. And I would like to offer my heartfelt thanks to the entire organizing team of this faculty development program for giving me this opportunity to speak in this session. So, at the very outset, I would like to mention that I'm a very young researcher, and whatever experience I have gathered throughout these years, throughout my research work and my teaching experience, and on the basis of that, I would like to give my deliberation today on this topic. So without any delay, I would like to start today's discussion as my topic has already been mentioned and I have started screen sharing. I think it is visible in the screen.
Yes, madam.
Thank you so much. So I would like to start today's discussion, that is case study method in research. I will basically focus how the case study can be used as a good method or important method in research. So I will start my discussion by mentioning what is a case study and the basic features of this method. So I have bring out certain points of case study method in research. More often we have this one learned or heard this term, that is case study. But when we speak about case study in research methodologies, we have to focus in certain points. Like here I have tried to jot it down. Like in the first point, I have mentioned that case study is an in-depth study of an individual. It means here I have made it in dark, that is in-depth study. Here actually I mean to say that the case which one researcher would take, it can be an individual, sometimes it can be a group, it may be a community, an instance, an episode, an event, a subgroup of a population, sometimes the entire population also, a town or a city. But the basic thing is that it will be an in-depth study. Second, it is important to treat the total study population as one entity. Here it means the case will be regarded, the whole entity, the whole population will be regarded as a single entity, a single case. It is characterized by a very flexible and open-ended data collection and analysis technique. So this can be said as an advantage that in case study method of research, it is very flexible, and it gives us an opportunity that we can use different data collection techniques and analysis techniques. So it is flexible. A single case can provide insight into the events and situations prevalent in a group from where the case has been drawn. As already mentioned in the first point, that case study can be an individual also, can be a group also. So if we take a group, a total group as a case, then it might be the researcher might want to have insights into the events and situations prevalent in that group from where the case has been drawn. Moving towards the next slide, as a researcher, while selecting a case, the researcher may usually use purposive, judgmental, or information-oriented sampling techniques. This is why, because here the main objective of the researcher is to make an in-depth study. Comprehensive understanding of the case is given importance from the point of view of the researcher. So that's why the researcher can pick up any of the sample, or if I say any of the unit for analyzing purpose. So it can be purposive, it can be judgmental, it can be convenient also. It is not necessary that we have to go for random sampling or other techniques. We can also use purposive, judgmental. Usually researcher goes for purposive, judgmental, because here the basic objective is to get an insight, in-depth insight about the entire case. So anybody you can pick up and information can be gathered. It is a very useful design when exploring an area where little is known or one wants to comprehensively understand the situation. It can be a phenomenon, episode, site, group, or community. So here the researcher will try to explore, will try to bring out more facts, more information, which was little known to the researcher. So in that case, a case study can be an useful method. This design, this case study design, is of immense importance when the study focuses on extensively exploring and understanding rather than confirming and quantifying. It means, suppose if a researcher wants to explore, as already highlighted in the earlier point, that comprehensively one wants to understand a situation. This is not like that I have already have the knowledge about the event, just I want to verify, just I want to make it sure whether it happened or not. So case study is not like confirming or quantifying. Yes, that 60% people has confirmed that the event has occurred, and 40% people has confirmed that no, the event was not occurred, has not occurred. So In case study, the objective of the researcher is not just to confirm or to bring out some quantitative results. Here, the objective of the researcher is to come up with some qualitative information by extensively and comprehensively exploring the entire thing about that case. So, whenever a researcher wants to have a qualitative study and aims to have some comprehensive understanding and extensive understanding, then the researcher should go for case study method of research. But there is a thing that in case study method, it is difficult to make generalizations. It is that the researcher can make a generalization about a particular group, the group which he or she has selected to study. But beyond that case, it is difficult to make generalization for other cases. Then studying an episode or an instance, an event, the researcher attempts to gather information from all the available sources to understand in its entirety. So here the researcher may take any of the unit as a sample, like in a convenient mode. Then use of multiple methods. Yes, here the researcher can use multiple methods to collect data, and it is a very important aspect of case study. Multiple methods, like a researcher can use in-depth interviewing, obtaining information from secondary records also, gathering data through observations, collecting information through focus groups and group interviews, and etc. Means a researcher can have multiple use of methods for data collection. So here I have highlighted the advantages of case study method, which has been extracted from the earlier discussion of features. Like, case study means comprehensive and direct understanding of the concerned unit. The unit means the case, what the researcher has selected to go through. So here the researcher can have a comprehensive understanding of that unit. Real and enlightened record of personal experiences. Here the researcher would go for enlightened or extensive study. So the researcher is definitely to have some personal experiences which will be real and enlightened. Natural history of the social unit. It will bring out natural aspects. What has naturally happened in that case, the researcher will come to know. Case study also helps in formulating relevant hypothesis, because a situation about which the researcher does not have a proper idea or proper awareness, in that case, in order to have in-depth information, the researcher would be able to formulate relevant hypotheses and assumptions, and can also test them and come out with some important results. It is an intensive study of social units. Case study is appropriate for questionnaire or schedule, and different research methods can also be used, as already mentioned in the last point of the earlier slide. It helps in determining the nature of units. It enhances analyzing ability of the researcher. As the researcher will go for in-depth study, the researcher can use different methods of data collection. The researcher may go for different techniques of analyzing the data. So it definitely enhances the analyzing ability of the researcher. The researcher can verify different techniques with the actual happening, with the actual situation. But it does not, there are some disadvantages also. Even if we have mentioned, or I have tried to cite a number of advantages of case study, but it is not left out with disadvantages. There are certain disadvantages or limitations, like it is not comparable. Different cases might give us different results. Different cases might have different, different aspects, different propositions, so it is not comparable. It is difficult to provide universal phenomena, because a single case will give the researcher a particular output, particular interpretation, but that may not be universal for the other cases. So there is a danger of false generalization. Sometimes the researcher may falsify the generalizations, because so it is highly subjective, and it says that it is difficult to generalize the outputs. It is difficult to use in a big society. If the researcher wants to study or wants to study an event, a situation, or want to have an in-depth understanding about a big study, it creates very difficulty, because at that point of time, if the researcher go for different methods of data collection and different analyzing techniques, then it would be difficult to come up with a valid result. The researcher may lost the connection. So it is difficult to use in a big society, and it is more time consuming also. And for in-depth study, for in-depth understanding about a topic, about an information, it is definitely, it will be time consuming. So sometimes it is difficult for the researcher to give more time for in-depth in-depth understanding or comprehensive understanding. So this is the limitations of case study. Now moving towards the next slide, I would like to cite the different type of case studies a researcher we can have. So we can have collective case studies. It means a researcher can involve himself or herself into a study of an individual or a group of individuals. If the study involves a group of individuals, it becomes collective. It becomes multiple cases. In collective case studies, the researchers simultaneously and sequentially try to study number of cases. That's why it is said as collective case study. And why? To have a broader understanding of a particular issue. Suppose this is an issue. Suppose I want to know whether my students are happy with the online mode of examination or not. So for that purpose, it will not give me a valid result if I ask, or if I interrogate, or if I try to collect information from a particular student or from a particular batch. So as a researcher, I may want to know that I have to pick up group of individuals, and then I have to simultaneously and sequentially study their behavior or their attitude towards the online mode of examination in order to have a broader understanding of that single issue. Then we can have descriptive case studies. In descriptive case studies, it means the researcher already has some pre-existing theory. I have already made it clear that my students, they are very much fond of online mode of teaching or online mode of examination. Suppose there is a theory, pre-existing theory, and as a researcher, I have already collected information about that theory. Now, I would like to, if I want to go for descriptive case study, then I will compare. Whatever knowledge the theory gave me, I would like to compare that knowledge with the actual event. So here, I will try to describe that whatever the theory is claiming in reality, is it true? Does the theory, explains the real event, or does the real event actually connects itself with a pre-existing theory? So here I will try to describe. So this kind of case studies will be termed as descriptive case studies. Then we can have explanatory case studies, where the researcher wants to explain the causes. So here a researcher will go for causal investigations. Here, one wants to have to look at factors that may have caused certain event or certain thing to occur. So it means here the researcher would like to explain what has happened, why has happened, how it has happened. So they will explain. So they are more interested in looking out the factors, identifying the factors, the reasons of some happening, and they will explain. So these are explanatory case studies. Then we can have exploratory case studies. Now, to some extent, explain, explore we can connect. By exploring, we can also explain. So here, exploratory case studies speaks that it works like a prelude to further more in-depth research. Like I have already mentioned in my earlier point, in the explanatory point, that the researcher have some idea about that topic, about that area. Now here, the researcher would like to gather more information. And this type of exploratory case studies helps in developing research questions and hypotheses. What I would like to explore, what I would like to find out. I would like to have an in-depth research on that. So that is exploring. Then instrumental case studies also we can have, where the researcher will focus on gaining insights into a phenomenon and try to refine a theory. Here also a theory is already there. It is an existing theory, but the researcher will try to have some more insights about a phenomena and would try to bring out some, try to add something with that theory, refine a theory. So instrumental. Here the case study will be used as an instrument to bring out some insights, and those insights will be used to refine a theory. And then we can have intrinsic case studies where a researcher might have some personal interest in the case. Here I have given an example also, when a researcher attempts to develop a psychological theory by observing their own family members. So psychologists may use this type of case studies where they will observe their own family members to bring out some psychological, or to develop some psychological theory, because they will have some personal interest in that research, in that case. So these are different type of case studies a researcher can have. Then we will move to the components. Now, how to design the case study method. Oh, sorry, here the study spelling is mistakenly, it is wrong, STDY, it should be study STU. It is a printing typing mistake, for typing mistake. So we would like to focus here about the components. So there are mainly 5 components of designing the case study method. What should be the research design? So here the first component has been mentioned is study questions. So while designing a case study method, the researcher needs to focus on the questions. A researcher might like to have insights about what has happened, how it has happened, where, which has occurred, what has occurred, or how it has occurred. But in study questions, the main focus of case study strategy is appropriate for how and why questions. How and why certain thing has happened. What has happened? Okay, I came to know something has happened. But as a researcher, if I have selected case study as my research, or if I have selected some case, so my objective will be to find out why certain thing has happened. So study questions will focus on basically two type of questions, that is how and why. So here the researcher needs to precisely clarify the nature of the questions. Suppose in a study, I have carried out my research work in work-life balance, as it was mentioned also while giving my introduction. So suppose I will put forward that example only. So work-life balance. I have conducted the study on work-life balance of employees working in a refinery sector. Now, my questions would be like that. Who are the employees? What is the phenomena I would like to study? So the phenomena I have selected in my case was work-life balance, where I have selected an organization, a refinery, where I have undertaken my study. So where? Then how? It means how those employees are balancing, whether they are able to balance or not. And if they are able, then how they are balancing. And if they are not, why they are not able to balance the work and life. So here actually work life balance, I mean to say my research work was on whether employees working in refinery sector able to make a balance between their professional life and personal life. So here these questions might have come: who, what, where, how, and why. And the most important part was how they are balancing. If they are able to balance, then how they are balancing. And why it is important to balance. These two questions were very precisely focused in the case. The second component is study propositions. It means proposition means a statement. It can be anything: a statement, a point, an argument, okay, that expresses an opinion of the researcher. Like in my case, if I give the same example of work life balance, then in this case, uh, there was something why I have selected to study work life balance. What has gained my attention? So a proposition is something which directs the attention towards what to study, why to study, and that should be examined within the scope of the study. It identifies the right direction for relevant information without unnecessarily covering everything. So, as I have taken a case of a refinery and I have tried to understand whether the employees working in that refinery, whether they were able to make a balance between their professional life and personal life. In that case, the proposition was the opinion. I was having an opinion or a thought in my mind, some assumption in my mind that in refinery sector, people are required to work in a very, there is a huge work pressure. And why this has came to my mind? Because I have came to know that that refinery on which I have undertaken my study, that refinery is making huge profit. That refinery is getting awards, national level awards. So definitely the human resource, the people involved in that organization must, they have given their 100% contribution. I can't say 100%, but they are contributing in such a manner that the farm is excelling. So that was my opinion. So when I have created that opinion that people are working very hard, that's why the organization is successful. Now if people are working very hard, so whether they are justifying with their personal life, by working hard means they are giving their best to their professional life. So at the same time, whether they are able to give their best in their personal life, in their family life, in their social life. So that was the proposition, that was the statement that expresses the opinion, the argument that yes, I need to study. I need to study and I have to look the things. I have to identify the factors which will clear the fact, or which will bring out the the output, that whether the people working in refinery sector are really overburdened with work, whether they are able to maintain a balance. And if they are not able to maintain a balance, then what should be introduced, what is the gap, what is missing there. And if they are able to balance, then how the organization is enabling them to balance their personal life also after giving such a wonderful contribution in their job. So those can be the propositions. Otherwise, if I don't have such an opinion or proposition, I will be lost in the I will be lost in the world of information, because a number of information I will be getting. Now, which information are important for me, I have to find out. And while identifying the relevant informations, those propositions will clarify me the path to find out the relevant information. So the third component, I would like to mention the third component, that is unit of analysis. Unit, as I have mentioned, work-life balance of employees in a refinery sector. Now here, the unit can be the employees. It depends on the researcher. What will be the unit? Sometimes the unit may be a single individual. Sometimes the unit may be a number of individuals. Sometimes the unit may be the organization also. So unit means the fundamentals of defining what the case is about. किसके बारे में जानना है? तो research questions identify the appropriate unit of analysis. So whatever the way a researcher will frame the questions, that will actually clear it out. What is the unit there in that analysis or in that case? So it may be an individual or anything about which you want to analyze. So in that case, work-life balance of employees in a refinery sector, I would say that the refinery is also a unit, because I have taken a single case, a single organization. So in that case, the refinery also becomes a unit. And again, the employees over which I want to conduct my study, whose behavior, whose attitude will give me the output, the interpretations about my questions, my queries, my research questions. So they will also be my unit of analysis. So it depends on the researcher. Sometimes the researcher might have a single unit, or sometimes the researcher might have a number of unit of analysis. But it is important to have or to clarify the unit of analysis. Otherwise, it will be difficult to match the data, to analyze the data, and to come up with some valid information. It would be difficult. So here I have mentioned three important components: study questions, study propositions, and unit of analysis. Then I will move to the fourth component, that is linking data to propositions. So proposition is the idea, the opinion, which gives me the instinct. Okay, here I would like to conduct a research. In this direction, I would like to go, and in this direction, in these factors, these are the points I need to focus in my research work. So the proposition, which I have clarified in my mind, regarding those propositions only I will collect data. And then the fourth component is to link the data to the proposition, because I will have number of information. So it means ideas or approaches of pattern matching. This is basically matching a pattern. Like, the thing is that it is very difficult actually. The fourth and the fifth component, most of the time the researcher, for a researcher, it becomes difficult to link the data to proposition. That is why proposition should be clear, because we will have a number of informations, several pieces of information. But we want to know, it is very important for a researcher to match the information with the proposition. Like, as I have mentioned, that I was having a proposition that the organization is doing very good. So it means people are working hard. And if people are working hard, it means somewhere they are sacrificing in their life, in their social life, in their personal life, in their family life. They might be sacrificing. So now, in order to identify, or in order to, bring out the facts, the information, I need to collect data regarding their personal life. How they are allotting their time to their family, to their children, to their like they can have their own me time also. Then how they are giving, or what cooperation they are getting from their workplace, from their peers, from their seniors. So these were the data collected, and these were tried to match with the proposition. Okay, like people are getting good information, means they are getting much cooperation from the peers, from the seniors, it means that the workplace is trying to give a good atmosphere, work atmosphere, even if there is pressure, but there is support also. Family, how they are dealing with family, how they are dealing with children. So it means those inferences, those information, I will try to match with the proposition. Okay, family, from family also the person is getting much support. It means it's somewhere it is helping the person to balance between his profession and personal or family life. So I have to link the data to my query. And the fifth component is to interpret the findings. After linking the criteria, the factors to the propositions, I have to interpret the findings. So there is no precise way of setting the criteria for interpreting the findings. However, sometimes it is done by comparing the proposition. The proposition which I had, that organization is excelling, people are working hard. So I have to compare. Okay, if they are working hard, but still they are saying that they are getting good cooperation from the workplace, they are getting good cooperation from the family. So it means that somewhere they are able to balance, might be. And if they are able to balance, so are they satisfied with this balancing approach? Are they satisfied with their organization? There might be some different inferences also. And interestingly, in my research, I have found some different, some unique inferences also. People were not satisfied. Even if they were able to balance, but they were not satisfied. So why they were not satisfied? It has some other reasons, those were also identified. But here what I try to say, that linking the criteria for interpreting the findings. So for a researcher, the earlier three, there are 5 components of designing a case study, and while designing the first 3, the researcher must be very much careful about designing these components, because if the first 3 components are properly designed, then only the last 2 component will be okay, will be fit into it, and the researcher will be able to come up with valid interpretations. So these were the components. Now, case study designs might be of 2 types. There can be single case studies or multiple case studies. Now, in one of my earlier slide, I have already mentioned about 5 different type of case study, but here I am mentioning about the design. Design can be 2 type. After designing the case, it can be collective also, it can be exploratory, explanatory, descriptive, intrinsic, and instrumental. So we can have, as a researcher, sometimes a researcher can pick up single case to conduct a study, and sometimes the researcher can pick up multiple cases. Now, single case studies. Single case studies, why a researcher should go for single case study? So here are some rationale why a researcher can take a single case to study. Single case represents the critical test of a significant theory. If someone wants to testify a significant theory, a single case can help there, because it means the theory has specified and clear set of proposition, and those proposition the researcher needs to identify, needs to match. Single case may be used to determine whether a theory's propositions are correct or whether they have some alternative set of explanation which might be more relevant. Like in my case, in my work-life balance, in my case, in my research work, as I have mentioned that, I was thinking that, okay, people are able to balance their work and life. It might be a proposition, it might be a theory, that if people are able to balance their personal life and professional life, then they might be satisfied. They will be satisfied for sure. Okay, that may be a general theory I have assumed, but in reality, that might not be so. The result depicts something else. So critical tests can be done to find out such or to clarify such propositions. Single case may represent a unique or extreme case. Yeah, sometimes some typical case or unique or extreme case which represents some extreme situation, some extreme event. For that purpose, single case studies can be can be designed. Single case studies enable the investigator to observe and analyze a phenomenon previously inaccessible, already mentioned in the features part. Single cases can be studied at different point of time. Yes, this is also an important feature, I would say, for taking a single case, rational. Sometimes a person might take a single case to compare, to make a comparison between different point of time. Some event or suppose the behavior of an individual, it may change at different point of time. So the single individual can be taken as a case to study what behavioral changes took place in that case in different points of time. So in that cases, single cases can be studied. Single case studies can be holistic and embedded. It means holistic design of case study is the one in which it is examined in one unit of analysis. Where one unit of analysis will be taken, it becomes a holistic design, and if the number of units are more, it will become an embedded design. Single case studies require careful investigation to minimize chances of misrepresentation and maximize the access to collect more representative case evidence. So misrepresentation can also take place. So it should be carefully investigated because only only a particular single case has been taken. So it should have some careful investigation to minimize the chances of falsifying generalization. It should be lessened. So that's why it requires careful investigation. We can have multiple case studies also, just contrast to single case study. In single case, we can take one individual, one unit. If the number of units are more, it becomes multiple case studies, as the collective while explaining or while mentioning about collective case studies already I have mentioned. So multiple case studies can also be holistic and embedded. In multiple case studies also, researcher can take a single individual case in order to not single case. Actually here the cases are multiple, that's why it is multiple case. But unit can be multiple, number of units can be taken. And in case of embedded designs also, number of units will be more and number of cases will be more. So where each individual case becomes a subject. In case of multiple case study design, multiple cases are there, and it means each individual case becomes a subject. Now, if we focus on the single subject by taking multiple cases, we are focusing on each and every subject, it becomes holistic. And if we make some generalization together, collectively, it becomes embedded. So here I have completed the different type of case studies. Now I would like to mention about the required skills for data collection one should have while designing a case study method. Researcher should ask good questions because he needs to have extensive and comprehensive understanding of the case. So he should be, the researcher should be very much careful while asking questions. The proposition, the unit of analysis, all things must be clear. Then only the researcher will be able to connect the questions with the proposition. The researcher should be a good listener. The researcher should be adaptive and flexible, very much flexible, because the objective of the researcher is to collect more and more information, intensive study, in-depth analysis. So adaptive and flexible. Have a firm grasp of the issues being studied. Be unbiased by preconceived notions. Notions might be preconceived, but the researcher should not be biased regarding the notions. कि मुझे लगता है कि ये सही है तो यही सही होगा. But the case study results might be something else. So there should not be any biasness. Then collecting evidence for case studies. For collecting evidence, different methods can be used like documents, archival records, interviews, direct observations, participant observations, physical artifacts. So these are different sources of collecting data, or we can say different methods of collecting data, which the researcher can, what to say, simultaneously use for data collection and to identify the case in an in-depth manner. So here I have completed the part of case study. I was supposed to speak a bit about ethical considerations in research. So I would like to ask how much time I had now, because okay, not much more time. I have just only 10 minutes. So I would like to speak on the ethical considerations. So ethical
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, you can take
Yes,
15
sir.
minutes, ma'am. You can take 15 minutes.
Okay,
Okay.
but I will try, sir. Thank you so much. But I will definitely try to cover up within 10 minutes.
Okay.
So regarding, yeah, thank you, sir. Ethical considerations in research, very important, or very important and very interesting, actually. I feel it to be very interesting when I say about ethics in research. Ethical considerations in research is such a thing, ethics itself is such a thing. We all know what we should follow, but again, we find ourselves in a dilemma. And in research, it becomes much more difficult to bring yourself from that dilemma. So there are several reasons why it is important to focus on ethical norms in research. So I have cited the norms. What can be the norms? What are the standards? As a researcher, we should focus, or we should have. So we should promote the aim of research. By saying this, actually, I mean to say that if as a researcher, my aim is to gather knowledge, my aim is to have a real understanding about something, then I will not falsify my generalizations. I will not make any misrepresentation of my data, misinterpretation of my data, or in a false way, I will not try to collect my data with my proposition. If my aim is to collect the actual, to have the actual knowledge, and this should be the aim in research, that is to have more and more in-depth knowledge about something for which I am looking for. Second norm may be, it involves a great deal of cooperation and coordination among many different people in different disciplines and institutions. Ethical standards promote the values that are essential to collaborative work. For example, this faculty development program, this is a collaborative work. We people from different subject matter or different disciplines, maybe we have gathered here to share our common experiences, to share our common understanding about research. Sometimes I feel research should not be limited to certain methods. There can be different methods of doing a research. Whatever I have come to know, right, wrong, anything, whatever I have newly found out, that is only my research outcome. So as a researcher, we should value that collaborative work are very much essential. We should not forget the cooperation of different people from different discipline in research work. There should be coordination and collaboration. Third norm can be accountable to the public. As a researcher, we should be accountable to the public. Sometimes as a researcher, we may work for a project public funded money. So in those cases, it should be in my mind that I am accountable. I have taken public money, so I am accountable to the public. Or I think as a researcher, it is my own opinion that even if I am not looking for any public funded project, still I can work for the public. Whatever research I will do, it should bring out some something about the public. It should develop some knowledge so that it will be what to say, beneficial for the entire public. So we as a researcher, we are accountable. We should be accountable to the public. Fourth ethical norm in research can be to build public support for research. So again, it is related. People are more likely to fund a research project if they can trust the quality and integrity of the research. As a researcher, if I come up with some valid research work, some important, significant social relevance, research work which has some social relevance, then there will be people will come up to fund my project. So public support in research, we can build that kind of support from public. Finally, many of the norms of research promote a variety of other important moral and social values. Ethical lapses in research can significantly harm human and animal subjects, students, and the public. It is broadly mentioned in experiments, like in science, where experimental researches are conducted. In those kind of research work, we should consider the moral and social values also. There should not be any ethical lapse while researching on human and animal subjects. Nobody should be harmed. Students, human subjects, people, their emotions should not be harmed. So these are certain norms. There are certain principles like the norms only, but these are mentioned as principles like honesty regarding the data, results, methods, procedures, publication status. We should not fake anything. We should be very much honest as a researcher. Objectivity. In designing a research work, like as I have already spoken on case study method, uh, in designing a research work, I should have some objective why I am doing so. So here we should try to avoid the biasness regarding data analysis, data interpretation, peer review, personal decisions, grant writing. So we should have some pure object. The pure object as a researcher I should have, and I should not ignore that object. Then integrity, like collaborative work already mentioned, promises and agreements, act with sincerity. There should be integrity between my act, my sincerity, and what I am looking for and what I am doing. Carefulness, we should be very much careful. We should avoid negligence, and we should maintain records of our data, of our design. Everything should be in line, and we should be very much careful regarding that. Openness should be there. Like I have done something in my research, but I don't want to share the data. What is there? What is to fear? If I have done something, I should be very much open. I should be able to share the results, the ideas, the tools and resources. Criticism might be there, but we should also be able to accept criticism, because from criticism also we will learn. We will come up with new ideas. Transparency should be there. Accountability, already mentioned, we should be accountable to the public funded money. Intellectual property, very much important in ethical considerations of research. Someone might have some copyrights, patents of intellectual property. So those things should also be considered in ethics. We should not plagiarize others' work. And if we are doing, not actually plagiarize, if we are taking into account others' work, we should give them due recognition, because that can be done, but we should not, without due recognition, we cannot use. Confidentiality, it means protect confidential communication. If it is important that certain researches are undertaken and it is meant to be it is important to maintain confidentiality, then we have to maintain. Otherwise we can share, but where it is required, we can maintain that secrecy or confidentiality. Then responsible publication. While publishing our work, we should be very much careful. We should not be hanker after, like for career development or for career progression, for my promotion only I am doing I am publishing work. I should publish like I can publish one single work, but that should be very qualitative. Responsible mentoring from research, from learning, whatever I have learned, whatever we all learn as a researcher, we should share our knowledge, we should educate our students. Respect for colleagues, yes, because collaboration and cooperation is very important. Non-discrimination. Discrimination should be avoided among your colleagues or students, or wherever we are conducting our research. We should not discriminate among the subjects, and because that will also falsify our results, that will not come up with good results. So we should not make any discrimination. Competence should be there, professional competence. If we want to become expert, if we want to improve our competence, then we should always try to have a lifelong learning. I never consider myself that I have completed everything, so there is always a gap. So competence, we should always try to increase our competence. Legality, we should follow the legal rules and regulations regarding ethical considerations. Human subjects protection, already mentioned that if any human subject is taken into consideration to undertake a research, then we should be very much careful about their protection. Ethical decision making in research. So it is very conflicting in research. Even though we have codes, policies, principles, but it becomes very difficult, it becomes conflicting while applying those codes, those policies, principles, and taking valid decisions in the field of research. So vast majority of decisions should be made straightforward application of ethical rules. There are various cases where we face dilemma. I have just cited some cases, like these are the cases. Publishing the same paper in two different journals without telling the editor. Submitting the same paper to different journals without telling the editor. I have some third point, I have done some collaborative work, but I have not informed my co-author. I have not patented it. I'm taking the benefit of patenting by myself, including a colleague while writing a paper. But actually, I have just included the name, but the author, that colleague, doesn't have any serious contribution into my paper. Sometimes discussing confidential data to our peers. Using data ideas or methods we learn while reviewing without permission. Using inappropriate statistical technique. Like just I need to make a test, I need to do a test. I don't know whether this test is relevant for my case or not, for my research work or not, but I need to show that I know statistics, I have used it, and I have I have come up with some fantastic findings. So using inappropriate statistical techniques. Bypassing the peer review process while publishing our research work. Conducting review of literature without acknowledging the people, those who have actually brought out some points. Stretching the truth on a grant application in order to convince reviewers that the project will make a significant contribution to the field. Sometimes giving same research project to students in order to see who can do it fast. Failing to keep good research records. Making derogatory comments and personal attack against one another. Then sabotaging someone's work, making unauthorized copies of data, papers, or computer programs. And sometimes situations frequently arise in research in which different people disagree about the proper course of action. As I have already mentioned, that so many points I have shown in my earlier two slides. We all have our notions that what is good, what is bad, what should we do, what should be the ethical guideline, what would be good to do. But again, sometimes it becomes difficult for me as a researcher, for us as a researcher, to do the proper, to decide the proper course of action. So in these situations, there may be a good arguments on both the side. principles may conflict, and this type of situations only create ethical dilemmas, moral dilemmas. But as a researcher, I would like to conclude my discussion here by saying that as a researcher, what I feel, if you have some pure objective, why you are conducting the research work, any kind of work, not only research. If I say from the point of view of ethics, any kind of work you are doing, it is you only who will decide what to do and what not to do. So there are ethical codes, there are ethical policies, we may be in dilemmas, but we need to have some proper justification. Whatever decision I will take as a researcher, that should come up with some valid justification, and we should not compromise, because by compromising we will be lessen our knowledge only. So as a researcher, I feel that we should not compromise, and we should try to make some great contribution in the field of knowledge. So with this, I would like to offer my heartfelt thanks to the entire team, to the entire organizing team of this faculty development program, Kolkata Bidhannagar Society for Academic Advancement, and the 3 colleges jointly organizing the faculty development program: Nowgong College from Assam, Nowgong College Autonomous from Assam, then Jhargram Raj College from Jhargram, Domkal Girls College from Murshidabad. I would like to offer a thank you to all of you, and respected participants and respected teachers present in this discussion for such a patient hearing. I don't know whether I could put up some valid points through my deliberation, but I have tried. And I think if some discussion or any opinion comes from that side, it will be really acceptable. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam, for such an enriching, informative, and nice presentation in such a lucid manner and in such a short span of time. This session is beneficial for the researcher to understand case study method of research and also the ethical decision which are related with the research in much better way. We learn a lot from you and wish to listen to you more in the due course of time. With this, I take this privilege to thank you once again on behalf of our organizing committee. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So thank you, Rinki madam, for giving your excellent presentation, as well as I'm very happy that you have added some ethical issues in your lecture or deliberation. So thank you very much, ma'am. And excellent presentation has been given by our Dr. Bishojit Pal, sir. Also, thank you very much, sir. And I'm just handovering my session to that our joint organizing secretary, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Jhargram Raj College, Dr. Satyajit Godai.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Please
Yes,
switch
sir.
on your videos, okay? First.
Yes. Actually, I feel very proud to give such a task to me for giving the formal vote of thanks on behalf of Kolkata Bidhannagar Society and Academic Advancement and all joint organizing secretary. I convey my heartfelt thanks and regards to Dr. Biswajit Pal and Dr. Rinki Das for their lucid presentation and thought-provoking explanation and discussion. And I think it would be very helpful to the all participants. And also, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our technical support team who are very excellently and very smoothly conduct our program last 2 days. And also, I must mention my regards to our own sir, Professor Pema Lama, for his constant effort for conducting such program and for taking the efforts for conducting various academic activities on behalf of our society. And I thank you, all the participants, for taking the patience and for listening and for attending this program. Thank you all. And I will close the session. Before closing this session, I want to inform another information regarding the tomorrow's program. That tomorrow's program should be started at 6:30 p.m., not at 6:45 p.m. It will be started at 6:30. Thank you all. Good night. And I am closing this session today. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.